Hi, okay, this is season 1, episode 1 of the podcast Go Team Score Points. This is Irish, and I am with my co-host today is August.
Yeah.
What game are we watching today?
We're watching Timberwolves Rockets. It's a in-season tournament game. This is Group A, I think.
I don't understand what that means.
A of the West. It's like there's different groups for the in-season tournament. It's like kind of like a playoff format where I don't really know because I don't know much about the in-season tournament. I don't think it's that interesting. But so if you win your group, I think you go play the winners of other groups. And so if you win the tournament, what the players get is they get money.
Okay, this is confusing because isn't the NBA is essentially like a tournament to get to the finals, right?
Yeah, but this is just some, technically every regular season game does matter, but if you think about it, the way they all kind of add up, does every day of work for you, does it matter every single time you're going?
Yes.
Well, are you going 100% like I'm gonna work so hard today?
Yes.
No. Some days you're working harder than others. I mean, you have to admit that. If you need to get something done, you will work harder than other days. That's true, right?
I will not admit to that.
Okay,
I work.
yeah, okay.
I give 100% every day.
You don't want to get fired, but everybody who works or goes to school, I think in a way, this would kind of be like a test, like a test throughout the school year, because I kind of I'm just going through the motions throughout the school year, and then when it's a week of a test or the day before a test, I'm a lot more focused in that class or something like that. I think this is kind of like that to try and get the players more interested in the regular season. But I don't know how much it would work for guys who aren't, like if you're making, $30 million a year, I think the prize money is like $1 million maybe. So what does that really do for you?
Wait, how do you win the prize money? Is it individual players win the prize money?
Every player gets that money if they win the tournament.
Every player on the team.
Yes.
The winning team.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. So now we are watching this game, and these are the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Today, the court is bright green. It looks kind of like Art Deco a little bit or something. Yes, I'm going to go with that. It looks kind of Art Deco.
That's kind of what it is because they do the weird color courts for never just like weird colors. It's just like cooler courts during the season tournament. And last year the Pacers, they had a court that they put in their airport, and I was seeing a lot of stuff.
Wait, they put a court in the airport?
Yes, they put a court in
Indianapolis Airport.
Yes, and I was seeing a bunch of stuff on the internet about how people are gonna miss their flights because they're just gonna be playing basketball. And then it turned out the rims didn't work. It was there was glass over. You couldn't play basketball. It was just there for decoration. About
this game, Anthony Edwards just scored a 3-point shot. He is really talented.
He's really talented.
Ooh, somebody fell down.
Fred VanVleet. He's friends with Drake. He used to play for the Raptors. Alperen Sengun, that guy right there. He's kind of like a worse version of Jokic, or like a younger version of Jokic, because he's European. He has a very similar play style. He'll get some triple doubles. He's not very athletic. He plays center, and it's kind of like how in Pokemon there's 3 evolutions.
I don't know that.
Well, some Pokemon.
So you're giving me a metaphor with one thing I don't know with another thing I don't know.
So Pokemon, they have 3 evolutions. And so
first, please explain Pokemon, the entire history of Pokemon to me, and then I'll be able to understand this analogy.
I don't really know that much about the Pokemon evolutions, but I know there's 3. And so for Charizard is a big dragon, but so there's starts out with it's like Charmeleon, it's like a chameleon. And then the second evolution is Charmander.
Time out. I can't even remember what this analogy is about.
Pokemon. They have 3 evolutions.
And we're comparing it to
Sengun and Jokic. And so basically Sengun is the lowest evolution. This other guy, Domantas Sabonis for the Kings, he's the second evolution. and the third evolution is Jokic because they have similar play styles. European, they're centers, they're the same.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. I also noticed this is okay. So this is an in tournament game, but here's what's confusing to me. The Timberwolves, like every team has their two colors, and the Timberwolves are not lime green, but the court is lime green, and they're wearing different uniforms that are black and lime green.
These aren't different uniforms. I mean, well, like,
Aren't they normally like blue ish?
yeah, but it's not two colors. They have like three kind of. I mean, some teams I think would even you could say have four.
Wait, do they all is in their regular rotation of outfits?
So they have the gray, the green, and the blue, the dark blue. And if you look at the logo, you can see the blue and the gray, and then there's a little green on the ear. Wait a minute, if the score were to come back, you can see right there's a little green in the ear. And it's,
Come on. That's a stretch.
I mean, that is the green. I think there is the green in the logo a little bit. But like that, I mean, it's one of the colors. But I mean, there is some teams that, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are white and black. That's it.
Bring
I think that.
or classic.
Yeah, there was a team that we played in our tournament, and they just had black uniforms and white uniforms. And like, I think it is boring, but it kind of gives them like a discipline look, and it's a little scary.
There's Chenzo.
Even Tenzo.
Chenzo. I looked him up the other night on Wikipedia. So this information is coming from Wikipedia. He played for Villanova, and he met his girlfriend because she was a cheerleader at Temple. The Temple Owls. That's their mascot.
I know.
I don't think I'm bringing any new fun facts to you.
I did not know that. I didn't know that he met his girlfriend. Didn't know she was cheerleading.
Gosh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, the guy Jabari Smith was good in high school,
He was good in high school?
and
Or
he was good at Auburn.
did you say Auburn? Okay. So with the commentators, I have a question about this because there's definitely a different style for the different. I've watched two games, so I've noticed that the commentators have like their own kind of style, like the way they chit chat and what they talk about, and like catchphrases they use. Do the same commentators always announce for the same teams?
I think it's pretty much. I think there are some. I mean, there's some commentators who are there's celebrities. You know, Reggie Miller. You
No.
know him.
Who is he?
He was really good, really famous in like the '90s. He was a basketball player.
Okay. Listen, I knew some basketball players in the 90s. Let me tell you who they were. Their names were Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and well, yeah, in the 90s, every single person was a Bulls fan.
You're from Chicago.
Like kind of. But
you always say kind of. You are more from Chicago than I am from anywhere.
that's fair enough.
Like you're from. I don't know why you doubt you like don't admit it. You're from Chicago.
I think because I was little when we lived there, so I don't remember it as much as I remember living in Colorado.
Yeah, but like you were born there and you grew up there for a good amount of time. I think where you're born is pretty much where you're from, and if you grew up there for a good amount of time, that's where you're from. I was born in Denver. I only lived there for 2 years, but that's where I'm from. I'm from Denver.
I see. I see.
He was very, very good in high school.
Who?
Jalen Green.
So it's funny because before I started watching the NBA, these two games that I watched, I would have said all these guys were good in high school. But that's not true because I've been reading about some players and they're like, okay, it's kind of true.
There is some comeback guys, but I mean, Jalen Green, people say was one of the best high school players of all time. I don't think of all time, but I mean, people say that.
Wait, what team? He's on the Rockets?
Yeah. Yes.
And how, I'm going to make a note to look him up later.
Yeah. You say how old is he?
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, like, how long has he played in the NBA?
I think this is his third year, fourth year. He was drafted in like 2020, I think. He was really good in high school. I think high school basketball it's really interesting. I like high school basketball because, I mean, there's just, there's super, super good and unfair teams in high schools. Like, do you know the Ball brothers?
I don't.
There's three Ball brothers.
This is like Eli and Peyton Manning, or like Taylor Swift's boyfriend and his brother.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
His name is Travis Kelce.
You knew his name. You chose to not say it. But so the Ball brothers, two of them made the NBA. One of them didn't, in large part because he stole sunglasses in high school, and he got in some trouble, and it messed. He got kicked off like the UCLA or something. He got kicked off their team, and it just messed them all up.
For something so small.
So stupid. I don't know why. It's so stupid. Well, the part of the reason they're famous is because their dad. He's kind of funny. He says some crazy stuff. He said that he'd beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1.
Please.
But I mean, he raised two kids who were top 3 draft picks in the NBA. So he did something right.
Yeah, that's like Venus and Serena.
It is, yeah. But so Star Thompson right there.
Yeah.
His twin brother, him and his twin brother got drafted back to back.
What?
He played in this league in high school called Overtime Elite, and it's really popular, but it's like,
did his brother also play in that?
Yes, they play on the same team actually. But so it's kind of like a professional high school league. Like they're getting paid to play there, and it started like 2 years ago, but it's like really picking up traction, and they've produced like a good amount of NBA players. I think there was like 2 or 3 in last year's draft, maybe a little more, and there was I think 3 or 4 in the year before. But yeah, they're producing a lot of good players. They had this one player who he was always kind of famous. He played with Bronny James in high school, and so he's huge. He's 7 feet tall, 350 pounds. He was less now when he was playing basketball, but he switched to football after playing in a professional basketball league in high school. Whoa. He switched to play football.
This guy, number one?
The guy who switched to football, I think he's done basketball. I think so. But he's now playing at Georgia as an offensive lineman. I don't know what's going on with him right now. I think he might have redshirted his freshman year. But yeah, he's playing pro basketball, very high level high school basketball.
You know what's surprising is I just realized this is my third game I've watched, and I've watched the Timberwolves each time. I watched Timberwolves and Suns, and then I watched the Celtics and the Timberwolves, and now I'm watching the Timberwolves and the Rockets. You know what I think that means? I think that means the Timberwolves and the Nuggets are my team.
But they play in the same conference.
I don't know what that means.
There's 2 conferences, 15 teams in each. And so in the playoffs, you have to make it through your conference, East or West, and then the winners of each conference play each other.
Wait, so I need to pick. So I should pick one from one side and one from the other side. Is that what you're saying?
No, you should just pick one team. I mean, well, if you are going to pick 2 teams, it doesn't really matter. But
then I'm going to pick the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, I guess. Although I kind of want to see a few more. Here's how I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick based on how entertaining the commentators are. So I'm going to watch a few different franchises. Is that what it's called? And then I'm going to pick based on which commentators are the most, I don't know, the ones that just speak to me.
The Hornets, I don't know if they still have this guy, but he was like a fan favorite commentator because he would just go crazy. Like, he'd be like screaming.
Well, I don't know if I need that, but
it's fun. No, but not every team has one commentator. So that's not the way you should do it. You should do it by most fun to watch, most exciting. I think that might be Oklahoma City Thunder. Nuggets fun to watch, but
wait, why do you think the Thunder?
I mean, part of it is just like I think they're a bunch of cool guys.
You know what? Maybe I should watch the Suns because they have Devin Booker.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. And I think the Timberwolves, they've got Anthony Edwards, not from ER, and Randall, and Chinzo.
Rob Dillingham, he played at that same high school league. That guy right there, he played at the same league as Star Thompson. I think he might have played on the same team as Star Thompson.
Oh, wait, somebody dunked again.
They always dunk, Mom.
No,
Yeah.
the 2 games I've watched before, there was not a lot of dunking. And that is, at this point, my favorite part.
I could almost dunk.
I
That guy has a 40-inch vertical. Here.
What is your vertical? You just had it tested.
Well, my standing vertical was 20 inches, but that's like, I think that it's measured differently in different places because we get no run up and no arm swing.
Did you see the flavor of that soda? Winter spiced cranberry.
Sprite cranberry. That's like a super popular meme because LeBron James in the ads. And then
Was that LeBron James in that ad?
I think it was Anthony Edwards. They might have switched it. There was like a popular meme where it was like, it's the thirstiest time.
And LeBron is singing that?
Yeah. And it's like animated LeBron holding a Sprite cranberry. It's like, want a Sprite cranberry? It's like that one.
I wonder how much he got paid for doing that one day of work. McDaniels almost got a half court shot, but it bounced out. Womp womp.
So you know how Kevin Durant, he's like, one of the greatest of all time, great NBA player?
Yes.
There was like a funny meme in the playoffs last year. So the Suns were facing the Timberwolves. Kevin Durant plays on the Suns. And Anthony Edwards, they have Kevin Durant, but we have Jaden McDaniels. And Jaden McDaniels is like, he's good, but like at the moment he's not great. And so it's fun.
That was not funny to me yet, but I bet, tell me that joke again in April, and I bet I'll laugh so hard.
Are you gonna watch the finals on this podcast?
Yeah, I don't know where this podcast is going to take me, but hopefully I'll watch a whole year of NBA games because this goes for a long time, right?
It goes until May.
Fantastic.
June.
Even better. Okay, here's something I've noticed. Yesterday or the other day when I was watching the Celtics game, it was at the Garden. That's how I say garden, like I'm from Boston. And like every couple seconds, there would be like an ad, and the announcers would be like, this moment is brought to you by Jason Stone, attorneys at law. Injured? Better phone Stone. But this, when they're at the Timberwolves arena, the Target Center, excuse me, it says it right there on the floor. They're not doing all the ads. So like, how does that work? Do you know? Do the Denver Nuggets do a lot of advertising like that? They've got like Jake Jabs talking about American Furniture Warehouse and the Nuggets. I mean, that's the thing with this guy, Jason Stone, attorneys at law. It was like Better Phone Stone. That's just like Better Call Saul. What do you know about Naz Reid?
He is a lot of fans like him.
I like him.
Yeah, story about him. I think it was like he was like undrafted. I think there's a point where he was like gonna quit basketball or something like that. I'm pretty sure he was pretty overweight. And then he was like in the G League. Bad stuff was happening. And then he came back, and now he was, like one of the best 6 men in the NBA last year.
Wow. Good for him. No, but it sounds great. Top 6? Somebody dunked.
I told you everybody dunks. A 6th man is the 6th man on the roster, so they are the best player who isn't a starter.
And that's called a 6th man? 6th TH? 6th man. I have a question. How often are guys subbed out? So like other game I watched, it seemed like Randall played the entire game.
How good you are and how much stamina you have. This one guy on the Knicks, Josh Hart, he'll play full games sometimes.
Wow. Okay, I have another question about the commentators. So if they are always calling on one team or like calling with one team, then don't they end up being kind of impartial.
Yeah, but you just gotta not do that. I think that most commentators, realistically, they probably do have biases to certain teams, but like you can't just don't do it. Like do you want your job? Then you gotta.
The first half is over. Okay, we're back for the second half, but we've skipped to the end of the game because spoiler, you said it's going to go into overtime, right? So right now it's 97-96 Rockets. This is not good. This is Anthony Edwards has fallen on his left wrist. Do you think if Anthony Edwards broke his wrist, he would still play?
What?
I don't know. He's that good. He is that valuable to the team.
Do you think how good you are depends on? Do you think if you play or not through an injury depends on how good you are? I think it might be the opposite. If you are injured and you're a good player, they might just sit you, even if you're like barely injured.
Because you're so valuable. I was just saying, like, he could play with one hand tied around his back, that kind of thing, because he's so good. Okay, so Anthony Edwards, he fell on his wrist, but he's okay. He's shooting some free throws now. Has he been injured before?
Yeah, but nothing severe.
So, like, when he gets injured, do they make him sit out because they want to make sure he heals? Okay. Whoa, he just fell again.
He like slipped. It wasn't my fault. He's pretty big on like playing through minor injuries because he knows the importance of being there for fans because people spend a bunch of money to go watch him play, and then if he doesn't play because he cut his nail too short.
Okay, so it's 97-102 Timberwolves. 2 minutes left, but you said it goes into overtime. That's exciting. That means they're going to tie. Edwards is looking for a backbreaker. They missed. Whoa. That guy just fell backwards.
Yeah.
Does that just happen sometimes?
Yeah.
So some people wear leggings under their shorts, and some people wear like just one leg. Is that for like compression or like blood circulation or just style?
Compression pants, but it's like mostly style.
Okay. Oh, wow. Number one on the Rockets just stole the ball and what's his name?
Asar Thompson. He's this one.
What team does his twin play for?
The Detroit Pistons.
Do they ever play against each other?
Everybody plays against each other.
Okay. I thought because there's East and West.
You'll play teams in your conference more, but you play every team at least twice.
Okay. So do you think their parents go to the game?
Yeah. And
then they can be happy either way because one of their kids won.
Travis Kelce.
I do remember him.
Kelce, Jason, and Travis.
Yes, and the Super Bowl. And Travis Kelce won.
Yeah.
And then his brother retired.
I wasn't happy about that.
You were not?
Of course not.
Who did his brother play for?
The Eagles. But either way, I don't like the Chiefs.
Right. You're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, but I hate the Chiefs.
Here we go. Here's the overtime part. Oh, that guy threw the ball. It almost went in at the buzzer. Oh, sorry. I didn't see who it was. It was Anthony Edwards. It almost went in. It bounced out. And now they have to go into overtime. Since you knew it goes into overtime, I bet you know who wins. Are you going to tell me who wins?
Why would I tell you?
Good job. That was a test and you passed. I have a question. It's about overtime. Is the overtime, it's by clock, right? Like it's just once we get down to 5 minutes, it's just 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, this is not looking good. I bet Anthony Edwards is so mad at himself right now that ball did not go in right at the buzzer. And now they're in overtime and they are losing.
I think to an extent, but like I said, one regular season game doesn't even matter that much. I think
But you know how you feel when your team loses a game.
But I don't play 82 games a season.
That's true.
I'm also not getting paid millions and millions of dollars. I have somewhere else that I want to make it to. These guys are
they're having a good time.
These guys are making millions of dollars and they're professionals. This is the highest level of basketball there is.
Yes. Oh man. The Rockets. Whoa, who's that guy yelling? I know he's excited, but he's being kind of rude.
What?
What's he doing there?
He's calling him too small.
That's kind of rude. Where is he from?
What's are kind of rude? Like that's the nature of it. He just ended the game basically, so he's gonna celebrate.
How do you know he ended the game?
Because they're up by 8 with 54 seconds left. They need a miracle right now to make it. In his mind, he's ended the game.
Nice. Randall dunked. Still my favorite part.
It makes sense.
So now are they just going to like try and run out? Oh, the Timberwolves got it. Go, Anthony Edwards. It's your time to make it up. Man, he missed again. Yeah. Oh, he got fouled. I really appreciate the sound effect in the Target center when they score a basket. Have you noticed it? It's so cute. Really?
I think so.
So far, I've watched, as you know, this is my third game that I've watched. And so far, the Target Center, I think, is way nicer than the Garden.
I keep saying the Garden.
That's how they say it in Boston.
You're not from Boston.
Yeah. Well, so at the Garden, the floor is bright green.
What?
Yeah, it's bright green. Because their colors, they're the Celtics. I thought it was that way just like normally.
I don't think so.
I thought it was very ugly. Personal preference. Did not like it. Oof. Now the Rockets are up 115 to 109. Get it? Oh, man. Anthony, he's missed the last three. Well, should I call him Anthony Edwards? Can I call him Ant-Man? He made it. Look at all the fans leaving. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get stuck in traffic for this.
That's what they do. I think I left like a little earlier.
Okay, so this is the end of the game. The Timberwolves lost. Quick recap. Who was the MVP of the game?
Let me check the box.
No, we watched it. You should be able to say. I will say the MVP was the Sprite winter cranberry drink.
The MVP was Alperen Sengun with a 22-point triple.
What team is he on?
We were just talking about him, the Turkish guy who was yelling.
Who was the least valuable player?
Let me go with Jaden McDaniels, who went 4 for 16 and 1 for 8 from 3. Not very happy with that, Jaden. 40 minutes. Played all his minutes and he did not capitalize.
My least valuable player was, I'm going to say it, and this is going to be controversial, but Anthony Edwards just kind of petered out at the end.
That's a terrible take. That might be
I'm new to this. And what was the most confusing part for you?
What you just said. Anthony Edwards would have been the MVP if they didn't lose.
My most confusing part was the green floor and learning about in-tournament games. The tournament within a tournament. Okay. And what did you learn today?
I learned that the Rockets clinched Group A in the West.
And I learned that, I learned a lot. I learned that overtime is set to 5 minutes. And I learned that there is something called an in-tournament where teams compete in like a little mini tournament for prize money. Okay, and I think that's a wrap for episode 1. The podcast that will never, ever be listened to